Alright, so if you are watching this video, chances are you might be struggling to get through Gold League. Maybe you're thinking about investing in some brand new cars to get you through into Platinum League to start playing the real multiplayer game. Well, in today's video, I'm going to go over the top 5 best cars to get through Gold League. Now, these are in order of how good I think they are. Number 1 won't surprise you at all, but stick around because there might be some underrated picks. Before I get into the list, of course, I gotta do all the YouTube stuff, so check out the links in the description down below to check out my social media channels and click all those different buttons that you see down there as well while you're at it. So let's get into the first or the 5th car on this list. Alright, so at number 5 we have the Lamborghini Egoista. This is probably just the most solid car on this list. It isn't going to propel you to Platinum League, and you don't even get access to it until Gold 1, which is a little bit annoying in my opinion. I think you could probably put this at Gold 3 or Gold 2 and it still would be pretty balanced for its rank. So this is an S-Class car, and the stats are pretty good in terms of top speed, acceleration, and especially nitro efficiency. However, where this really lets you down is in the handling. It's not atrocious by any means, it's not completely horrible, but it is definitely lackluster compared to most of the other cars on this list, and especially those agile B-Class cars that you're going to go up against. So if you're finding out that you're playing on Himalayas a lot, maybe even Rome, things that have a little bit more stretches to those straightaways, this is going to be a very good car because you get near 240 miles per hour just with the top speed. That's going to do very well against those B-Class cars. However, in the very twisty tracks, you're going to struggle because of that handling. So if you can learn nitro management and use a lot of shockwaves to get out of the corners, you can do pretty well. You can expect maybe pole position with those cars, or this car, at least on those twisty tracks, but where it really shines is those top speed tracks. Again, not the best in any category, but it is certainly solid. I would use this as a backup. Maybe you just hit Gold 1 and you're sort of running out of fuel on your other cars. This is not a bad option. Alright, next up at number 4, and this was my surprise pick. I tried this out during the current bout of Gold League, and I was quite surprised with its performance. This is the McLaren 600 LT Spider, and I believe this was featured in a Drive Syndicate of maybe about a year or two ago, so a lot of people will have access to this car, and I think it's a little bit underrated. Now, initially, the top speed isn't that incredible. You're barely going 220 at max. However, all of the other stats are quite good. Now, the acceleration at just above 85 is where I want to feature this car's stats because you really slingshot ahead of everyone else at the beginning of the race, especially with this acceleration. It's quite good. Nitro is also really nice at 71. I feel like it's a little overstated. I don't feel like it's above 70 in terms of efficiency, but either way, it is no slouch. Handling isn't the best thing on the planet, but it's also really adequate. It'll get you through the corners no problem, and because it has such good acceleration, you're going to get out of the corner really nicely as well. So this is a pretty solid mid to upper tier B-Class car. This is going to get you through Gold League pretty easily. Again, I wouldn't rely on this as your number 1 car. However, as your number 2 or number 3, this is certainly an amazing option that you might have sitting around in your garage and might not realize how good it is. So if you have this at max, definitely upgrade it, start it up, and see how it performs. Okay, so number 3 is going in a completely different direction. This is a high top speed focused S-Class car, the one and only the classic W Motors Lykan Hypersport. This has been in the game since forever. I have recommended this car for multiplayer since forever. However, you do have to be pretty competent in your driving skills because even though it is an S-Class car, it has that traditional S-Class handling where it's much sharper than you would think. It can be a little tricky because the nitro isn't the best, and of course the acceleration, having all of the other stats be so good, that is where this car gets balanced out. So it's just above 80, which isn't horrible. 80 is sort of the mark where you want to be for any multiplayer car at the very minimum. This reaches it, but compared to some of the other cars we just talked about at the 84, 85, 86 mark of acceleration, this is going to struggle a lot. So you're going to do well in the top speed focused tracks, especially the Himalayas, Greenland, and especially, of course, Cairo, Thousand Minarets, the classic. This is just going to destroy anything else. If you're competent with your top speed and nitro management, this is going to do very well. The handling is going to save you in a couple of corners, but because of that poor nitro efficiency, you just have to make sure that you do some brake nitro tricks to keep that shockwave so that you can get out of the corner. Those corners are where the other cars are going to catch up, and especially on those twisty tracks, that can be a little difficult to manage. But this car's main focus, like I said, is top speed. It is so much faster. At 252 miles per hour, it is at least 30 miles per hour faster than all of those other average B-class cars, even some of those A-class cars. So if you find that you're getting a little lucky with the top speed tracks that you're getting matched into, definitely take out this car for a spin, and more than likely, if you've been playing this game for any amount of years, you definitely have this bad boy. Alright, and at number 2, we have the former most annoying car to match up in multiplayer in Asphalt Legends. It is, of course, the Vanda Electric's Dendrobium. Yes, you all know it, you all hate it, but you can't deny it. It is one of the best cars for Gold League in multiplayer. If you want to get ahead, this is the car. Now, one issue is that you should have it at a pretty good rank. I actually don't have it all the way upgraded. I am missing a few epics. Even then, it's actually not that bad. However, the more epics you put on this car, the better it will be. So if you're lacking a lot of epics, you may actually want to look elsewhere. But if you have them sitting around in your inventory, put them on this car immediately and upgrade it as much as you can, because it just gets better and better. Of course, the main stats with this car are the acceleration, the handling, and the nitro. Very, very low top speed. So oftentimes, if you're finding, like with the Lykan, that you're matching up against those top speed oriented tracks, you do want to avoid this car because you're just going to get outshined by some of the other cars we've talked about, especially the Lykan Hypersport. But if you find yourself getting a lot of twisty tracks, this is, of course, the best option for you if you have this car, except for, of course, the first option in this list. But anyway, acceleration of 84.5 is amazing. That's where I have it in my garage. Handling is just incredible. It feels like you don't lose any speed whatsoever. And the nitro is so good that you can feel like you stay in shockwave forever. So, you know it, you hate it, the Vanda Electrics, it's just a solid choice. Alrighty, now number 1 on this list, you guys probably knew what to expect. It is the newly Evo equipped Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. This is the A-class version, so you're not looking for the Corvette Grand Sport or the Corvette Stingray, that's the C8 generation. You're looking for the Corvette ZR1. Now, ironically, as I'm making this video, it isn't available in the current selection of multiplayer cars in Gold League, but it does come around, so you might need to wait till the next season. I do have some gameplay of it in this video talking about how its performance is just incredible under Evo, so you can also take a look at that video if you're a little confused about Evo and you also want to know how it's balanced. Definitely take a look at that video for sure. But in this video, I just have it in MP2, and it still does absolutely incredibly compared to some other incredible S-Class cars, just because the acceleration, nitro, and everything like that is so darn good. Now, the weak point is definitely going to be handling. Of course, this is going to depend on your Evo setup. Mine is more of a neutral build, so it focuses more on the acceleration and nitro efficiency. I also have a slight top speed boost in shockwave, which puts it at 238 miles per hour while in shockwave. That's actually as good as the Lamborghini Egoista I talked about earlier. That's why that car is way more down on that list and this car is above it, because this car actually outshines the Egoista in every single category and does match the top speed, and it's an A-class car, it's not an S-class car. So that makes it all the better. If you are going to equip this for multiplayer with your Evo tuning, I definitely recommend focusing on the acceleration. I have it at 86.78, which makes it the best in my garage currently for Gold League acceleration. That just makes you slingshot way past everyone at the beginning of the race, similarly to the 600 LT. However, just that little bit extra oomph makes sure that you stay ahead of those cars, and your top speed on average is going to be ahead of the 600 LT as well. So you have better acceleration, better top speed, and that combination of stats just makes this absolutely unbeatable. If you had to have only one car from this list, it would have to be this one. In that Evo video, I talked about how you can take this car all the way to Platinum League without using any other car, that's for sure. So if this is the only car you can put your resources into, definitely do it. This is the absolute gold standard for Gold League, no doubt about it. Alright, so that's going to wrap up my top 5 Gold League cars for multiplayer. If you have any suggestions or any underrated underrated cars that I didn't mention, be sure to leave those in the comment section down below. Of course, there are a ton of good cars as well that I could mention, things like the Pagani Huayra, even the Apollo N is pretty good as a starter car, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think is a very underrated car in the comment section down below. And if you're curious about a platinum video, let me know in the comments. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all later.